What if terrorists ever get their hands on killer robots? Or what if Putin decides to add these world-destroying weapons to his arsenal? Weapons built with artificial intelligence which can identify, target, and kill a person all on their own are quickly moving from sci-fi to reality. They are already set loose to slaughter.
Are nations around the world involved in an arms race to develop autonomous lethal weapons?
They say autonomous weapons systems, which use artificial intelligence to select targets without human intervention, should be banned.
The Pentagon investing billions of dollars to develop autonomous weapons, machines that could one day kill on their
Weapons would
own.
react too fast for a human to maintain meaningful control. They could be mass-produced and programmed to target innocent civilians of a specific ideology.
Autonomy in weapon systems is a big and dangerous problem for humanity. It's like handing over life and death decision-making to machines. What if they misidentify their targets? What if they escape control and attack the wrong group of people? If you think autonomous weapons, also known as killer robots, are just for military use in war, then you are in for a rude shock as you are about to discover the untold scary dangers of AI autonomous weapons. Who knows? Your life may already be in danger. The movie is Slaughterbots, and in a scene, you can see two men standing near a white van in a field, each holding a remote control. As they open the back doors of the van, a massive number of drones swarm out like bats emerging from a cave. Within a few seconds, we can find them in a college classroom. The killer robots flood in through windows and vents. The terrified students trapped inside scream in terror as the drones mercilessly attack. Tiny killer robots are already here, or perhaps almost here, plus the potential ease at which terrorists or anyone can easily deploy them. And the most painful part, we are weak and defenseless. Just like the terrified students, no one will be there to rescue you and me. If a terrorist group like ISIS get their hands on these weapons, we are and later in this video, we'll show you how terrorists cannot be held accountable if they ever get access to these kinds of weapons. While you may argue that it's simply a movie, it sends a clear message. The line between science fiction and facts becomes thinner by the day, and it is impossible to differentiate, especially when it comes to the possibilities of AIs. Even the US Air Force predicted a future where mechanical insects equipped with video cameras will be sent to discreetly enter a building during hostage situations. Besides, we already have Octoroach, an extremely small robot with a camera and radio transmitter that can cover up to 100 meters on the ground. Who knows how many other notorious creatures are out there? And how dangerous are they? There are so many dangers associated with autonomous weapons. The biggest concern is the issue of misidentification. Can autonomous weapons differentiate between enemy combatants and 12-year-olds playing with toy guns? Or between innocent civilians seeking refuge from a conflict zone and terrorists strategically retreating? In case you don't understand how these weapons work, I'll explain in a bit. While I explain, please subscribe to our amazing channel. So, let's dive in. Lethal autonomous weapon systems, LAWS, are a specific type of weapon that uses sensors and computer algorithms to independently identify a target and destroy the target without the need for human control or manual control. Let's imagine you have an autonomous weapon. You simply activate it, but you do not know specifically who or what it will strike, nor the exact location and time. This is because autonomous weapons operate based on sensors and software that analyze the environment to find the target that matches the predetermined target profile. Do you see how dangerous this will become? The problem here is that when these machines make mistakes, the consequences can be extremely catastrophic. The scale, scope, and speed at which killer robot systems operate can wipe out an entire nation in a minute, like a recent horrific US drone strike in Afghanistan due to misidentification. Another perfect example is Google's image recognition software that was mistakenly classified, and I'm not making this up, African Americans as gorillas. Or Amazon's machine learning tool that systematically assigned negative scores to all female job candidates. The problem is not just that AI systems make mistakes, but their mistakes affect large numbers. Another huge threat is dehumanization. this will become scary. Technology should empower us, not reduce us to dummies, stereotypes, or objects. It shouldn't be an instrument used against us. The technologies powering autonomous weapons automatically treat and analyze humans as data without truly recognizing their humanity. And it ought not to be so. The truth is, machines cannot recognize humans as humans. Just imagine that insult, an object we created categorizing us as gorillas. Yet we allow these machines to decide who to kill and keep alive. That's the height of dehumanization in this digital age. If we allow this dehumanization to continue, we are in for another war. We will struggle to protect ourselves from machine decision-making every day of our lives. They will end up ruling every aspect of our lives. If you're still in doubt, check out our last video on sentient AI in the top right corner. You will understand this even better. The third untold danger of autonomous robots is the rise of heartless humans and terrorists who will never be punished. Terrorists not being punished? I hear you think. Let me explain. Well, since these systems are now autonomous and no longer require human control, the users of these weapons are no longer fully aware of the consequences of their actions. This lack of responsibility makes it difficult to hold them accountable for anything, as they can easily claim it was an error on the part of these systems. People, not machines, must be held accountable. Unfortunately, this lack of accountability weakens the law. Imagine the damage terrorists like Osama bin Laden could do if he had access to weapons like this, and we couldn't hold him responsible by law. These laws, dating back to the 1864 Geneva Convention and included in international treaties, clearly distinguish between courageous acts at the war front and mass atrocities. They are founded on the principle that people can still be held accountable for their actions, even on the war front, and that permission to kill enemy soldiers in combat does not extend to killing innocent civilians. But who should be held accountable when an autonomous robot commits a crime or hits the wrong target? Who should be put on trial? The weapon? The soldier? Or the company that made the weapon? Because I am beginning to wonder how autonomous weapons can be held accountable. In a world where there are no regulations that require autonomous weapons to be under meaningful human control, there will be crimes, assassination, massive massacre, just name it. But nobody will be held accountable for them. We are heading towards a dark future, if you ask me. And this leads me to the next severe consequence of these robot killers: the inability of the victims to explain what happened or why it happened. This issue of control and accountability will lead to a devastating situation in such that victims will find themselves helpless, with no one to defend them. Imagine a situation where an autonomous robot strikes a bus, and every person on board dies. No one will be able to explain what happened. And even if anyone manages to survive, he or she will be left in the dark, without any answers. Oftentimes, people who lose family members and loved ones in similar crimes rarely get justice for their losses. Rather than working to correct this injustice, we are busy programming systems that we cannot control. It's a pity that despite these terrifying dangers, militaries around the world are investing heavily in the research and development of these deadly weapons. In fact, from 2016 to 2020, the United States alone allocated a budget of $18 billion for this purpose alone. We are gradually planning our own extinction. If you think about it, it is insane how much money governments invest just to kill people. Large military powers are capitalizing on political tensions and international power rivalries to justify their investments in these technologies. They claim they need more autonomy to match their adversaries' capabilities. On the other hand, the manufacturers of these weapons are actively promoting them for selfish reasons. Unfortunately, that's not what we need at the international level to maintain peace. We need more humanity in our international relations, not more dehumanization. Besides the immediate concerns of their potential misuse in the wrong hands, it is important to recognize that fully autonomous weapons will make it easier and cheaper to kill people. And I'll tell you, it gets even worse. Because if the development of these weapons continues, there's a possibility that the weapons will become extremely cheap. Currently, drones can easily be purchased or constructed by anyone at a relatively low cost. And as technology advances further, prices are expected to decrease even more. Moreover, if the US were to employ drones in combat, it is highly likely that many of them would be captured or scavenged by the enemy. Lethal autonomous weapons in a worst-case scenario can become instruments of unspeakable horror. Who knows whether, in the future, these machines will be ruthlessly deployed to wipe off a whole ethnic or perpetuate acts of genocide. With their ability to be programmed to identify targets based on certain defining traits, such as ethnicity or race, the consequences could be devastating. This might sound unthinkable, but not so long ago, we had a German emperor who destroyed 6 million Jews. Imagine someone today with the same vision and access to these weapons. The destruction to this world would be beyond reparation. Maybe, and just maybe, this is the dark reality that lies ahead of us. The technologies we once hailed as groundbreaking and transformative are slowly revealing their lethal potential. The prospect of autonomous drones becoming engines of discrimination and mass violence calls for urgent reflection and decisive action to stop them. If we fail to respond appropriately, we are heading toward destruction. We are so close. What do you think? Let's have a talk about it in the comments. Now, want to know more about the dangers of AI? Subscribe to our channel and watch the video on your right to learn more about sentient AI.